press #6.
Alrighty, looks like we have collected a good quorum of folks here. Hello everyone, my name is Marvin Mao. I'm a member of the Mainframe product marketing team at CA Technologies, and it's my great privilege to welcome you to today's webcast, Migrating from CA Panvalet or CA Librarian to CA Endevor Software Change Manager. Why now? With us, we have some amazing subject matter experts to speak on this subject, including Rose Sakash and Pete McCullough, Product Manager and Product Owner of CA Endevor, respectively, as well as Jim Brace, Service Program Manager for handling the migration to Endevor. Looks like we have everything set to go. Just folks, again, as a reminder, just to reduce echo and keep good audio quality, please keep your lines muted through the presentation. We do very, very much welcome your questions, and please submit those using the Q&A functionality on your screen. With that, Rose, why don't you take it away?
Okay, thanks, Marvin. As Marvin indicated, I am the Product Manager for CA Endevor Software Change Manager, as well as CA Panvalet and CA Librarian. And the first thing I'd like to do before we actually dive into the details of the presentation today is welcome everybody and actually take a minute to thank you and thank you for your business. We're glad that Panvalet and Librarian products are important to you. We're glad they're working well for you. And we just want to do a shout out to all of you because you've been with us for quite some time. And we want to be sure that we recognize that. So thank you. Also, just sort of to present this in agenda format, we want to be sure that you are all aware that first and foremost, your success is very, very important to us. In fact, it is our goal. So as you listen and learn throughout this webcast, please keep that in the forefront of your mind. The first thing we want to do is bring forward some immediate concerns you may have with respect to Panvalet and Librarian. And then I'm going to turn the webinar over to Pete McCullough, who's going to give you a closer look at Endevor. And then Jim Brace is going to walk you through how we can actually assist you in migrating to Endevor if you choose to do so. So, with respect to Panvalet and Librarian, we want to make sure that each and every one of you are aware that we will continue to support these products. There's no plans to change that. The products will continue to be supported with fixes, and that you have the option to transition from those products on your time. So within your schedule, within your budget, on your schedule. And we're ready to help you when you're ready to do that. We also want to make you aware that you will have an opportunity and you should have a conversation with your account team and talk about the no-cost Endevor swap option that may be available to you. Okay, so we know that in this application economy, things are evolving very fast. That many of us are performing many jobs at the same time. Many of you are probably in the middle of a modernization effort within your company. And we want you to be aware that we're ready to help you and work side by side with your in-house experts when you're ready to transition to CA Endevor Software Change Manager. With that, I am going to turn it over to Pete McCullough, and he's going to dive into Endevor.
Thank you, Rose. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, could you, I don't think I can move the slides forward. If you could.
I am happy to.
Forward the slide. Oh, now we go.
And now you're the presenter.
And I'm still unable to move the slide forward.
Okay,
Rose,
I can do it for you.
Yeah, could
Sure.
you do it for me, please? Apologize, everybody. I think there was one slide backwards. We need to go back. Hi, this is introduction for those of you who are not familiar with CA Endevor Software Change Manager. I wanted to provide you with just an overview of the features and value that Endevor provides, and some of the more popular features and functions that that you may be interested in learning about. So the main features of Endevor, the main value of Endevor is the strong auditability that it provides for your IT auditors and managers and anyone else who is interested in knowing on what's going on with your software inventory. Endevor provides the capability to automate your build or compile procedures as well as your promotion procedures and your deployment processes as well. And we're modernizing the product to include better support for Java and integrations with other CA solutions such as Application Lifecycle Conductor and the CA Testing Tools products. So in those areas, the IT auditor and development manager would be very interested in the audit and access control, the who, what, why, when, and where type change tracking. Endevor provides historical audit trails of any members or elements that are stored within Endevor all the way back from the very beginning of time. Endevor itself has been using Endevor for managing itself, and we have changes that go back many years. And it's very, very helpful in diagnosing problems and in coming up with solutions to those problems. It also provides change approval capability for those sites that need to have approval before they move their changes up the life cycle to production, and provides very tight security through our external security integration, which uses the Security Access Facility protocol to talk to CA Top Secret, RACF, and CA ACF2, so that the actual access permissions are controlled by a third party. It's not necessarily by the administrator, which keeps our auditors happy through the separation of power. In terms of automated processes, as I said before, you can use Endevor to automate your build processes for your developers. The advantage of this is that the developers don't have to worry about the JCL. They don't have to worry about compile params or any other build parameters. They're all under your control, and generally, people set those to what they use in production so that what they test with, what your developers test with in the lower site development stages in Endevor is what actually gets deployed in production. So it saves a lot of frustration from the developer's perspective because all of that is automated. The promotion capabilities of Endevor can also be automated. You can tell Endevor to rebuild components as you promote them up the life cycle, or copy those components that have been already built and you're satisfied you want to copy those executables. Or it could be a combination where you might want to rebuild out of the development stage and then copy from the QA stage into production, for example. And then a lot of customers are using the Endevor package ship function for deploying the changes to remote sites and also to local LPARs, maybe test CICS regions or production CICS regions, depending on what the application is. And again, that can all be pre-set up and configured, and then once those things are ready to be deployed, it's a matter of just executing an Endevor control statement such as ship package ID to a destination, and the rest after that is all automated. So the cool thing about Endevor is that it can pretty much be customized to manage whatever processes that you have already in place with very little effort. And then the thing that's unique about Endevor over some of the other SCM tools is the inventory management. It provides the capability to classify and organize the software by application. In Endevor terminology, they're called systems and subsystems. And this provides the capability to separate the programs and copy members and whatever other components that belong to applications and assign them to the right application. And then you can actually, going back to the audit and access control, you can set up security rules to allow or disallow people that don't belong in that area access to that source code. They may be able to view it, but and not be able to change it and that kind of thing. So that granularity through the inventory definitions provides a lot of value in that respect. You can also, with Endevor, implement multiple life cycles. If you have some very stable applications that don't really go through a lot of new development, a development and production stage may be all that's required to make those few changes that exist. Other applications may be very active and may require additional testing, and so additional stages in the life cycle could be defined to accommodate integration testing, model office testing, and all that before we get to production. So as I said, access permission can be set up for all of these things according to the location as well as the inventory. So the main components of Endevor that I think are very popular today are the external security interface for the audit control, which is the connection to the external security products, CA Top Secret, CA ACF2, and IBM's RACF facility. And that allows separate security administration to be performed over the inventory that's stored in Endevor. That is a very, very popular feature with auditors to ensure that the integrity of the inventory. And then the extended processors is what I had mentioned earlier, where it's like JCL-like scripting that you define to Endevor to tell it how to build the executables for the type of source code that you have. Typical uses would be compiles and binds and links and that kind of thing. But pretty much any process that's defined with JCL that you may have can be defined as a processor. The automatic configuration management is one of the very, very powerful features of Endevor, that during the build process, Endevor can monitor the dependencies that go into that build process. Basically, it's the where use capability. You can determine what program uses what input components or what end components are used by what programs. And with a single query, you could actually get a list of all references from copy member to program to link to bind to whatever, and have Endevor generate the syntax required to rebuild the entire application. So it makes it very simple, and it removes the opportunity for human error when people tend to forget, like I do, tend to forget that, oh, this program's used by this, I forgot to rebuild it, where the SCM feature will eliminate that issue. The parallel development option comes into play when you have concurrent development going on, which is easily defined with Endevor lifecycles, where you can create what we call sandboxes, where project teams or individual people can work in their own work areas within Endevor on the same members, same elements. And at some point, when those elements come into contact with each other, one moves in front of the other, there's going to be an out of sync situation. The parallel development option will be is a very handy tool to analyze the two different elements and provide a map of what the differences are, what the collisions are, and provides the tools to actually do the merge to resolve that conflict. And lastly on the slide is the quick edit function, which is sort of an IDE for the mainframe world, which is an ISPF front end to the ISPF editor, and Endevor ISPF front end to the editor, which allows your developers to just see on pretty much a single ISPF panel, see the files that they're working on. They can edit those files, they can delete the files, they can promote the files, they can get into the package option of Endevor to create packages if those are needed to do the promotion. pretty much everything a developer needs to do their job. All of those tasks are available from the quick edit screen. And that provides a boost in productivity because they don't have to go all over the place to figure out what to do next. It's all right there on that screen as that IDE. The interfaces that are available with Endevor today, as I just mentioned, there's the quick edit interface, which is very, very, very popular. There's the classic ISPF interface, which was the original Endevor ISPF interface, which is has the foreground, the batch, the admin functions. It's sort of tailored after ISPF itself, where there's menus and then submenus kind of thing. That's what we call the Endevor Classic interface. Our most modern interface is our Eclipse user interface, which provides the same capabilities as the quick edit, but from the Eclipse user interface for those new generation of developers that are used to using Eclipse with their Java work or other tools. The Endevor Eclipse interface should be pretty much second nature to them. Our batch command language, which is available through the mainframe or through our application programming interface, API, is called SCL, Software Configuration Language. That's a fancy name for just performing Endevor actions in batch, which is basically the capability to update, promote, retrieve, build, or generate, transfer, that kind of thing. So in doing mass promotions or mass rebuilds or things like that, you would use SCL in a batch environment. And then for capabilities to integrate with other platforms and other third-party products, we provide the API, which has been in the product for quite some time, and then we're developing a RESTful API, which is a more efficient way for Endevor to be communicated with across platforms. This is more of a network kind of interaction with the product. In terms of how we are developing Endevor and what we choose to enhance and focus on in terms of our new releases, we are implementing or using the ideation process that is available with our global user community as a way for our customers to identify enhancements that they would like to see to meet their business requirements. And that enables other customers to look at it and vote and maybe refine the request, and to the point where we can see that easily identify those features and enhancement requests that will provide the most value to the product and to the general user community. Once we've got those prioritized, we take them into our development process, and we've been using Agile with the Endevor team for several years now. We're using Agile to both deliver or develop these new features in conjunction with our partners, where in the Agile process we have sprints or development periods, which in Endevor is usually a month, and then at the end of that we demonstrate the work that's been done by the team to the customers, to our validation partners. And when they deem those as done enough to provide value, we will actually publish those as an incremental release delivery. So that with incremental releases, unlike the old days where we did the waterfall release, where we would go like 18 months or 2 years of between releases, and then all of a sudden we go beta with the next release and everybody first sees the features at the same time. And then we find out that we should have gotten some feedback earlier. With incremental releases, it gives us the capability of showing between the Agile development process, we demonstrate and get feedback early on. In incremental releases, we publish them for the general community and make those features available right away. And through the ideation process of any tweaks or enhancements to those features can come right back into the process as feedback and lead back into our Agile development process to publish again as refinements. So it is very flexible and is set up to be very timely so that we can deliver features to you quicker and features that have more value to you, because those are what you've been asking for through the ideation process. So I think I'm going to turn it back over to Rose, who can talk a little bit more about the user community and the validation process. Thank you.
I am. Thanks, Pete. Thanks so much. Yeah, as Pete mentioned, we take a lot of pride in having a lot of interaction with our customers, specifically as it relates to satisfying business requirements, ensuring that we are actually delivering features that matter, features that are going to move the needle within your own organization. And we have several ways that we do that. One big way is through the agile development process, as Pete just outlined. And a lot of it really all starts within our communities. We have a very, very large Endevor community, very active Endevor community, people who are not afraid to engage. Many of the customers, as Pete indicated, do participate in our customer validation program. Pete used the term partners. These are people like you, our customers, are acting as our partners in developing, ensuring that the team stays on track with what matters from a business perspective, and providing a means to allow the customers who participate in that validation program a means to collaborate and interact directly with the Endevor engineers. And this has been very, very successful. So as Pete mentioned, we have a means to collect your requirements through our ideation process within the Endevor community. There's a forum in there to communicate questions, to make contributions, to write blogs. Our community webinars are posted there, so you can view videos. It's very interactive, as I said, and it's very, our customers are very engaged there. We also offer the opportunity to join the validation program, to participate, actually be a working member, if you will, of the project team as we work through the releases. And that information is, as you can see, is displayed on this slide. So we have, as I said, a large community. The Endevor customers responded very positively to our Net Promoter Score survey that we conducted in 2015, so much so that Endevor was rated one of the highest scores throughout CA Technologies. Okay, so with that, I believe I'm going to turn it over to Jim Brace, who's going to share the migration process. You're welcome. Take it away, Jim.
Thank you. Appreciate this opportunity. I'd like to, CA Services has taken kind of a real straightforward approach to make this transition as painless as possible for you. Can we go to the next slide? Rose, can we go to the next slide, please?
I did, but you know what? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm just getting presenter back. Here we go.
No, not a problem. My machine's running a little slow today. The first part of the migration process is getting to know and familiarize ourselves with your architecture and consumption of Panvalet Librarian. And we do that through our questionnaire. Our questionnaire helps us determine the level of complexity of which the tweaking that you've done with Panvalet Librarian in your environment, and gives us an idea of how you've consumed the products. Questionnaire is not very long. We've worked with some of our partners and some of our subject matter experts to get it down to about 3 pages. And when we get inside the questionnaire, it helps us build an understanding of how many elements and how many applications and how many master files that you have within environments that would be created within Endevor, and gives us a complete and thorough understanding of all the aspects of your organizations that Panvalet Librarian touched today. the organization piece is extremely critical, and we're extremely sensitive to the fact that the organization will be undergoing a change. And so we need to understand how many of the number of personnel need to be trained, how they integrate with, how your applications integrate with Panvalet and Endevor today so that we can mirror that within, or Panvalet and Librarian today so that we can mirror that within the Endevor environment and help you develop a training package that is very clean and succinct to bring those users on board as clean as possible. The understanding of the philosophies of the application and use and consumption within your environment is extremely critical to developing that smooth process. Can you go to the next slide, please? So once we develop the questionnaire, we're going to review that with you to make sure that we have the clean understanding. And we have pre-built statements of work across what we call a small, medium, and large migrations. A small migration would be about a 90-day migration that would convert up to 3 master files, 10 applications, and up to 100,000 Panvalet and Librarian elements. A medium would take about 180 days or so, which would convert up to 6 master files, 20 applications, and up to 200,000 Librarian and Panvalet elements. And a large, that same 6 master files, but it would take about a 270-day or up to 9 months, and we would convert 30 applications or 300,000 Librarian Panvalet elements. Obviously, we would like to get your organization involved in this migration process so that they build an understanding of the construct and consumption within Endevor, helps them ramp quicker, as well as potentially can reduce those times and the cost associated. Once we develop and incorporate the questionnaire into the statements of work, we would have a meeting with you to kind of go through the different components, the different stages, and the cadence by which the migration would take place, and work out the details on how your organization would be included in executing the final migration process. The one component that's extremely critical is the CA Endevor education. We've got a lot of structured programs which will help develop the standard operating procedures and understanding on how Endevor can be incorporated into your operation, as well as build those subject matter experts to support the application once it's deployed. Next slide, please. This just gives you an example of all the customers that we have, or a number of the customers that we have dealt with today who have gone through small, medium, and large migrations. And these are individuals that we can hook up a conversation with you to learn more about what is actually involved in the migration. Now, one thing you'll see at the end, my contact information, if you would like to learn more about the migration and the statements of work that we've created to kind of give you an idea of the exact execution, please drop me a line or let your account director or account manager know, and we'd be happy to get back in touch with you and start the process. So, Rose, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Jim. So in wrapping up, we want to remind you that we are strongly committed to supporting you and helping you all to be successful. If you're interested in an opportunity to migrate to CA Endevor, please contact either your sales representative, or I've just switched the slide so you have access to all of our email addresses. Jim's email address is at the bottom, james.brace@ca.com for specific conversion questions. If you have any technical questions, product questions, peter.mccullough@ca.com. And if you're interested in just having a conversation, if you want to talk more about Panvalet, Librarian, anything at all with respect to your situation, please feel free to reach out to me, rose.sakatch@ca.com. and we'll open it up to Q&A. If anyone has a question, please use the Q&A box located in the upper, I think it's in the upper right of your WebEx. We're happy to.
Hello, everyone. This is Marvin again. Please, if you would like to, you're welcome to continue submitting your questions through that Q&A section. You're also, at this point, you can also unmute your lines by pressing #6 or #6. And again, we very, very much welcome your questions, your thoughts at this point in time. Again, we're very privileged to have Rose, Pete, and Jim on the line today to share their insights and expertise, and thank you all for that great presentation. So, folks, does anyone have any questions? And again, just quickly to unmute your line, press #6. Oh. Great. Looks like we do have one question coming in from James Chambers. I guess, Jim, would you mind taking the lead on this one? How much extra work do exits add to the migration?
I would need to defer to Peter on that. He has a deeper technical understanding than I do.
Sure.
Yes, I think our goal would be to reduce the need for exits as much as possible, but we recognize that depending on the processes, there may be some customization that is required, and it can only be done through an exit. And it's difficult to give a black and white answer about the overhead of implementing it. Depends on the scope. So I guess I'd have to have more information, but generally, if someone who is a programmer knows how to write code, I would say that it's probably not that difficult a thing to do, but I would discourage it if possible.
Okay, James kind of clarified that a little bit, Pete and Jim.
Okay.
We use Hogan from CSC, and it uses a librarian exit to update some of its files when adding members.
I see.
Yeah.
I would say that I'm sure that CSC must have a similar facility with Endevor. We would have to check with them.
Yeah, and I think in this case, and unfortunately, James, not to take the easy way out, but the right answer is it depends, and I would have to imagine this is something that Jim and his team evaluate when they go in and do the holistic evaluation of the situation.
If we could, we would love to contact you and get the right people on the phone to kind of dig in and maybe go through the first stage of the questionnaire and kind of talk it through with you and talk about the potential elimination of those extensions and see exactly what, how they're used today and kind of explore that with you.
Okay, I think that may have helped. Thanks, James, for submitting the questions. Okay,
Alrighty.
More than happy to chat. Go ahead,
Does anyone else have any questions? Oh, no, that's okay. Again, feel free to use submit them through the Q&A section, the chat box, or unmute your line by pressing #6. Okay. Sounds like we are all set to go then. Well, on behalf of the team, I sincerely want to thank you all for taking the time to join us. Really hope that you enjoyed our webcast today. Also very much want to thank our presenters, Rose, Pete, and Jim, for sharing your insight and expertise today again, many ways to continue this conversation. If you have any additional questions that pop up following our webcast, please feel free to reach out to any of the folks who presented today. You can see the email addresses on your screen right now. You're also welcome to follow up with us on our Endevor user forum, which on CA Communities, that's communities.ca.com, and you can just go look for the Endevor forum. Again, another great opportunity to connect either with experts at CA or fellow users like yourself. With that, I guess we can bring this webcast to a close, and thank you all, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.